Hi, I'm Charles with Anycap. The story begins as our protagonist Kai looks at a chained up girl and he wonders if she is a demon or an angel. The girl asks him for help, but Kai can't believe that she would ask a human for help. Humans and other races have waged a fierce war against each other. This girl doesn't seem to know that, and Kai becomes frustrated because no one seems to remember what the real world is like. A look back shows Kai doing the normal thing he does, where he monitors a graveyard. His friends want him to hurry up, but Kai takes it very seriously. In this world, there are 5 distinct races. The demons, who are wielders of mighty magical powers. The celestials, who are demi-humans such as angels and elves. The spirits, who are creatures that possess special kinds of bodies, such as ghosts. There are also the mythical beasts that are colossal fierce monsters such as dragons. Then finally, there are the humans. A war waged between the 5 races, and it's incredibly important to make sure that another great war doesn't occur again. Kai belongs to the Urza Federation, and it's their obligation to observe the graveyard where the demons have been sealed away. Kai observes the graveyard for 300 seconds like always, and determines that nothing is strange, so the demons are properly sealed. Kai's co-worker Asura can't understand why Kai takes his job so seriously, but Saki points out that it's good for them because they can take it easy. A demon has not escaped from the seal in the past 100 years, but Kai reminds his co-workers that it's still their job. There are 4 graveyards around the world, and Kai points out that the people in charge of those take their jobs just as seriously. That's because if a demon were to get out, it would be a catastrophe. His friends wish he would take it easy because the demon hasn't broken the seal in some time, but Kai just doesn't want to let his guard down, and he declares that watching over the graveyard is his duty. A while later we watch as Kai does some training, but he is warned that a low-ranked soldier like him using a mythical beast for training is incredibly dangerous. Kai fights it anyway, but he finds that his attacks don't work against it. Saki gets worried, so the hologram is deactivated, and she wishes that Kai wouldn't push himself so far. Kai thinks it would be pointless to train though if he didn't risk everything. Saki actually kind of admires his determination, and she thinks that if he were alive during the Great War, his name would have gone in the history books. Kai would be like the prophet named Sid, but Kai can't see himself winning against a certain 4 heroes like Sid did. Saki describes each hero from each of the 4 races, and she couldn't imagine what they would do if they were still around. Thankfully, Prophet Sid was able to defeat them using the shining sword given to him by a god named Solaka. There is plenty of evidence that the 4 heroes existed, but there's actually no proof of the Prophet Sid. There are no pictures or videos of him. Saki changes the subject as their friend Jean is being promoted and she wants to celebrate. Jean is getting transferred to headquarters at just 17 years old, and she is the youngest person in history to be selected. She's an elite among elites, so they have to get her more than a bouquet, like Asura suggested. Just then, Kai receives a message from Jean, and Asura reads it out loud. Jean wants to meet with Kai, but she wants him to keep it a secret from Saki and Asura. Kai tries to cover it up by saying that the message isn't really from Jean, but it's too late, and Asura wonders if Kai has a secret relationship with Jean. The friends try to get more information, but Kai just decides to go for a run. The next morning, Kai meets with Jean, and he's glad to see that she's on time because she is usually late for everything. She wonders why Kai is wearing such fancy clothes while off duty, so he explains that he just came from the morning self-training that he does every day. Jean has him accompany her while she does some shopping, and she explains that she's looking for gifts for Saki and Asura. She knows that they're planning to get her something, so she wants to give them something in return. Jean says that she probably will never see them again, but Kai is sure that she will be back as a cadet after her transfer is over in 2 years. Jean predicts that they will have finished their service in the military by then, and they will be civilians. Only herself and Kai will likely still be in the military. Kai agrees with her, but he can tell that she is upset. He knows what's wrong and tells her not to worry, as he is sure that she will surpass her father, the Urza headquarters chief. The two continue enjoying the day, but Kai doesn't pay much attention to what Jean is shopping for, as he is looking for something for himself. In the end, Jean thanks Kai for helping her pick out some good gifts. The two then discuss how Jean's father took Kai to inspect the graveyard when he was 10 years old. He wandered into the graveyard, and when he came home, he told everyone how he saw Sid's sword. Kai has a memory of what it was like inside the graveyard and how he almost touched the shining sword. This was the day when Kai started talking about how important it is to make sure that the demons don't escape from the graveyard. Jean wonders where they will be in the future, but Kai points out that she will simply be back in 2 years. That isn't what she meant though, as she is talking about after that. Jean wants them to make a promise for the future, but Kai begins to panic as something strange begins to happen. Jean has no clue why he's behaving so strangely, so Kai begins to wonder if he's the only one seeing what's happening. Jean continues to talk like nothing is happening, but Kai is horrified as she is sucked up into a black hole. Just then, a mysterious voice announces that the world reincarnation has been activated and it's time to execute the overriding of the world. Moments later, Kai snaps out of it, but finds himself in a dark and destroyed world. He is then startled when a gigantic and terrifying looking demon appears before him. The fearsome beast uses a magic attack on Kai, and Kai just barely manages to survive by using his sword case as a shield. Kai can't believe that a real demon is standing in front of him, and it prepares another powerful looking attack. Kai rushes to his sword and quickly loads some bullets into it. His weapon is pretty diverse as he's able to fire bullets from it, and he cancels the dragon's magic. The dragon can actually speak, and it is shocked by Kai's cancellation ability. Kai explains that he used modified elven bullets that are created using elven magic. The demon just continues attacking, but Kai shows his incredible fearlessness as he closes the gap between himself and the demon. Kai's sword isn't able to penetrate the demon's skin, but he uses the opportunity to fire a shot at point-blank range. The exhausted Kai explains that the bullet he just used was the modified Drake bullet that reproduces mythical beast breath. It was his first time using it, but Kai is glad to see that he's able to move just like he does in training. This victory has made him confident that he can actually fight real-life demons. Just then, another demon appears and states how laughable it is that a human thinks it can defeat demons. Kai is impressed by how well the demon speaks English, but the demon explains that the most effective way to give orders to a slave is by using its own language. Kai doesn't understand why the demon is calling him a slave, but there is no time to think. The demon says that Kai smells dangerous, so he prepares to eliminate him. Just then, someone rescues Kai by using a flashbang, and they get away. This girl tells her group that the Wanderer has been secured, and she asks to know where Kai is from. Kai is shocked to see that this girl is Saki, but she has no clue how he knows her name. Kai reminds her that they are friends, but she has never seen him before, and neither has Asura. Kai can't understand why they don't remember him, so he reminds them that they are from the same agency. They don't know what he is talking about, and they explain that they are simply soldiers of the resistance. Kai is now the one to be confused, so Saki goes on to say that they are with the human rebel army. This just causes more confusion, so Kai asks them to tell him everything about this world. Asura and Saki assume that he's just flustered from facing a demon. He must have forgotten things, so they try and help him remember. They explain that there was a great war of the 5 races, and humanity lost. Kai is shocked, of course, because in his world, humanity actually won. Asura goes on to say that they lost the war over 30 years ago, and cities around the world were taken over by the 4 other races. As for the humans, they're barely managing to survive while running and hiding. The 4 other races now rule the world, and they fight each other over territory. Asura and Saki then introduce Kai to the human city called Neo Vashal. A group of humans took an underground space that was still intact and remodeled it into an underground city. The resistance protects the people living there by fighting the 4 races. Kai wonders why the humans lost the Great War, but it's pretty obvious to Asura and Saki. They point to how powerful the demon he just saw was, and explain that they attack humans in groups, and the humans don't stand a chance at beating them. Not only that, but each of the races has a powerful boss that they refer to as a hero, and these heroes are incredibly strong individuals. All of this sounds pretty familiar to Kai, so he wonders what happened to Prophet Sid, humanity's savior. Kai is shocked to hear that they have never heard of Prophet Sid, so he explains that he's supposed to be the human hero who defeated the 4 races. Asura correctly points out that if they had anyone like that, they wouldn't have to live underground like they are. Just then, the main core arrives, and Asura explains that there are several human cities around the world. There are resistance groups in each one, and they are overseen by the main core. The commander of the resistance is someone that has saved many lives, and Kai can't believe his eyes when this person turns out to be Jean, especially because everyone thinks she is a guy. Asura and Saki introduce Kai to the commander, and they explain that his memory is a bit foggy. Jean begins to leave, but Kai can't take all this and he stops her. He tries to remind Jean about who he is and how they were just shopping a few moments ago. Jean of course has no clue what he's talking about, and she assumes that he has her mistaken for someone else. Kai can't believe that she really doesn't know who he is, so he asks her why she's pretending to be a guy. Jean is shocked to hear this, and Kai reminds her that she wanted to surpass her father as his daughter. A soldier named Fallon stops him, and Jean decides to just leave. Kai's new friends worry about him and tell him that he should get some rest. That night, Kai looks through some historical documents and finds that the only records missing are those of himself and Prophet Sid. Just then, Kai realizes something. If Sid never existed and humanity lost the Great War, then why do the graveyards that seal away the 4 races still exist? The next day, Kai asks Saki about the graveyards, but she has never heard of them. Asura lets Kai borrow the car, which upsets Saki, but Asura says that it was just a reflex. Kai arrives at the graveyard and thinks about how this is his first time going alone. He's surprised to find that the blockade stone was removed, and he goes inside. The darkness soon turns to light, and Kai is amazed when he sees the shining sword just sitting there. This proves to him that the legends of Sid must be true. Kai pulls the sword from the mantle, and a loud voice gives Kai the world coordinate key and calls it the code holder. Just then, a giant shining door opens in front of him, and Kai hears a girl calling for help. Kai is shocked to see that he's not in the grave